Ever wish you could flip a switch and become dangerously confident? I'm talking about the iron-spirited grit that lets you attack life's toughest battles, even when you're young and everything feels stacked against you. Most guys waste weeks on prep talks, morning routines, look-maxing routines, only to freeze when real pressure hits. And that ends today. In this video, I'll show you how to build real confidence through one simple concept. I'll also teach you how to awaken your inner hero so every choice aligns with that vision, and lock in tiny daily wins that turn into unstoppable belief. First, what is confidence really? I know, it's a stupid question, but if you want to do something right, you have to know what you're trying to do in the first place. And trust me, the answer is not as obvious as you think. The loud guy in the room, the one who walks like he owns the place, the guy who posts shirtless pics, speaks with zero hesitation, cracks jokes that everyone laughs at. That's what we call confidence, right? Being bold, being seen, being prideful. But how many times have you seen that same guy talk big but be unable to take criticism? Or be unable to discipline himself in his bad habits? He's fearless online, sure. He's prideful, he's arrogant. But in reality, he's insecure, he's hurt, and he folds whenever things don't go his way. Because in reality, he's not confident. He's an actor. He's a performer. And the second he stops performing, all of that quote-unquote confidence disappears. Look, getting the definition of confidence right matters, because if you get it wrong, you'll spend the next 5 years chasing the feeling of confidence instead of doing the things that actually build it. You'll keep trying to feel ready before you take action and end up stuck in your head watching other guys pass you. Because the truth is, you can't grow and become confident if you're so worried with appearing confident. So what is confidence? Confidence is competence, and competence is consistency. Therefore, confidence simply is just being consistent. But hold on, let me explain, because it's deeper than you think. See, studies in self-efficacy show something most people overlook. Confidence doesn't come from chasing big, flashy goals. It comes from stacking small daily wins. People who focus on hitting consistent, manageable targets report a 50% boost in long-term confidence compared to those who only chase the occasional break. Why? Because your brain doesn't trust hype. It trusts actual results. It trusts actual actions and consistency. That is how your brain works. And so the more you show up, even in small ways, the more you can convince yourself that you're the kind of man who follows through. Look at somebody like David Goggins, an ultra marathon runner, ex-Navy SEAL, went through Hell Week 2-3 times. The guy who's known to push through pain like a machine. If anybody's confident, he's probably the guy. But what people don't tell you is that he's not sitting there and telling himself that he's the man, that he's got this, that he's strong, that he's able to do it. They don't tell you where his confidence comes from, but he does. Read his book and he makes it very clear. It's not the manifestation that makes it. It's the thousands of boring, painful, invisible reps that got him there. The early mornings, the brutal runs, the uncomfortable conversations with himself when nobody else was watching. Goggins didn't build his confidence by hyping himself up. He built it by proving to himself daily that he doesn't quit. Every run, every stretch of discomfort, every routine was a sacrifice. Confidence deposit. A deposit into his competence that made him feel like he's actually the man he says he is. Over time, those deposits compounded into a belief system so strong that now he can go and run 100 miles with little to no training. Now he can run 10-15 miles every single morning. His belief set, after thousands on 10,000s of compounding small wins, is built to be able to handle that. So you get it now. Confidence isn't about waiting for some magical feeling to show up. It's built through small, repeated proof. Competence deposits. Momentum stacked daily. You're nodding your head. It clicks, whatever. But now the real question kicks in. How do I actually apply this today? Not next week, not next month, not next year, right now. Because if it stays theory, nothing changes. You'll close this video, maybe feel motivated for an hour, and then slip right back into the loop. But if you want to see real traction, even by the time you wake up tomorrow, there are 3 rules I've tested and lived through that can create a visible shift in your confidence in less than 24 hours. The best part, it's really not that damn hard to implement. Let's get into number 1. Listen, the real reason you can't get consistent and you can't build a consistent identity, like I said, is fragmentation. One of the biggest lies people believe is that consistency is about willpower. Like if you just tried harder or had more motivation, you'd magically wake up every day and follow through. But if that were true, you wouldn't feel this stuck. Because the truth is, you probably do try, at least in waves. You've had a few days where you showed up, weeks where it felt like you were finally getting momentum. But then it fades. You miss a day. You shift your goal. You change your plan. And just like that, the streak dies and your confidence with it. All because your entire life, down to your very being, is fragmented, making consistency impossible. Eventually, your brain stops believing anything will stick because nothing has stuck. Listen, the only way out of fragmentation, the only way out of the spiral is structure. Not just in your routine, not just in your habits, but in who you are, what you do, and what you surround yourself with. You need a system that lines up your identity, your goals, and your daily actions into one direction, so that you can finally, with clarity and belief, say, I am who I want to be, and I do the things I need to do. You need a rule, something simple enough to follow, but strong enough to hold under pressure. That's where this rule comes in. I call it the consistency prism. But first, your morning routines are naked without a gentleman's brief. my newsletter for young men just like you. A Gentleman's Brief is the daily hit of clarity and confidence that every man needs to make success automatic. If you're interested, click the link below or in the pinned comment to join. By the way, I'm working on a couple free goodies for anyone that does decide to join. Typically, I would charge a hefty price for these, but I want to give something away to the people that are genuinely willing to take initiative. And so if you want to lock in those prizes for yourself, because I can't guarantee that they'll always be around, sign up now. Anyways, here's how it goes. If you want to be consistent, you need one consistent identity, one consistent goal, and one consistent habit that directly support your goal. Sounds complicated, but let me show you how to build that. Number 1. Building a core identity. Building a core identity means deciding who you are before the pressure hits. It means choosing a fixed internal state and standard you hold yourself to, even when your mood changes, even when you fall, even when there's no one watching. That's what separates men who become something from men that want to become something. So I could sit here and get all sciencey and tell you all about identity and how it works and all of that stuff. But rather than bore you to death, what I will do instead is I will give you the practical question I ask myself to decide exactly who I want it to be. It'll give you all the clarity you need to know, okay, this is the man I need to be in life. This is who God wants me to be, whilst giving you a shitload of motivation to actually be that person. And it's this simple. Imagine who you want your son to be. If you could make your son whatever you want him to be at the tap of a button, imagine him. I would make him incredibly patient. I would make him always work hard. I would make him very charismatic. I'd make him very social. I'd make him a great leader. I'd make him strong. I'd make him intelligent. I'd make him wise. All those things. Imagine exactly who you want your son to be, exactly how he lives his life. After you're done imagining that, whatever piece of paper you listed that on, just change the top of it and put yourself instead. And become that man. Because the truth of the matter is, your son is only going to be who you are. Because if you work hard, your son will work hard. But if he sees you on your couch, sitting like a potato every single day, your son will do the same, if not worse. And so that's how I found out who I wanted to be. And again, don't go and change this every week. Because confidence, fundamentally, is a consistency issue. If you're a new person every day, you cannot be confident because you don't know who you are. And when you don't know who you are, you build imposter syndrome, which is the number one cause of bad self-esteem. Once you've built your core identity, the next part of the consistency prism is building your core goal or your list of goals. A core goal isn't just something you want. It's not I want to get in shape or I want to make money. That's surface level, it's not specific, and it really doesn't do much for you. A core goal is a concrete result that your identity serves and gives your actions direction. It's the one thing that, if you accomplish, will create a permanent shift in how your life feels, looks, and operates. It doesn't need to impress people. It doesn't need to make you necessarily feel good. It doesn't need to be a forever goal. I mean, it really shouldn't. It just needs to be real, measurable, and aligned with who you're becoming. Think of your core goal at the tip of the spear. Your identity is the force behind the throw. Your values, your energy, your why. But without a tip, without a clear point, all that power is just flying air. Blunt force is not really going to do much for anyone. It won't pierce anything. You could be the most disciplined guy in the world, waking up at 5 a.m., journaling, cold showers, reading books, whatever the hell it may be. But if it's not aimed at something specific, it's just motion. Pointless, useless, stupid motion. So here's how you find your core goal. First, ask yourself this question and write the answer out without trying to sound smart or complicated. What one outcome, if I fully accomplished it in the next 6 to 12 months, would make everything else in my life easier or make most of my problems irrelevant? Now, yes, it doesn't have to be one single goal, but you don't want to be putting so many that they're really not that important. You want to limit yourself to 2 or 3 at most. For example, if you're always stressed about money, you generally have bills to pay, not that you just want to be the next thing to take and, waste your life doing a bunch of stupid things. You generally have bills to pay, you need the money, you want to keep your family home, whatever it may be. And say you're always stressed about money. Your core goal might be make $3,000 per month on a scale I can control on my own time. If you're insecure about your body and it's genuinely hurting your confidence, genuinely hurting your life, your core goal might be gain 15 pounds of lean muscle and maintain it. If you feel lost spiritually, and this is a thing a lot of men are going through right now, maybe it's build a daily rule of prayer and fasting that grounds me. It has to matter. That's what I need you to understand. Your core goal must matter, or it simply won't hold. You won't think about it enough. It won't be drilled into your identity. You won't actually be pushing that goal forward. If you're still not sure what your core goal is, it really just comes down to this. What's the one thing or 1 or 2 things you keep thinking about when you're alone? The thing you always tell yourself you're going to start for real this time, and then you never actually do. The thing that scares you a little because if you fail, it'll hurt. That's probably your core goal. For me, for a while, I wanted to gain weight, but I always pushed it off, but I would always think about it. And I knew that if I didn't go and actually start to pursue it, I would always think about it. And so not even that long ago, a month or two, I decided to get back into the gym, really take my bulking serious for the first time probably in my life. And since then, in a month and a half-ish, I've gained about 11, 12 pounds. Now, once you have your core goal, there's just one more step. But it's the most actionable, the one that's actually going to change your life. So pay attention. You've got the identity. You've got the goal. But here's the part that actually wires into your nervous system. The neurological behavioral patterns and thought patterns that compound on themselves and literally build the subconscious mind that really drives who you are. Because if your subconscious is messed up, it doesn't matter how much you try. It doesn't matter what habits you build. You're going to be operating from your subconscious 99% of the time. So you need to make sure that's set up correctly, not anything else. Listen, every time you repeat a behavior, your brain lays down an insulating layer around neural circuits that make the signal stronger and faster next time. That's why brushing your teeth feels automatic. Because since you were, God knows what, 2, 3 years old, you've been brushing your teeth every single night and morning. And so your brain has put so much of that insulating layer around that neural circuit of brushing your teeth that, at least if you're like me and you're not disgusting, when you're going to bed, you're like, haven't brushed my teeth. You just get up like that one Squidward meme where he just bolts his eyes open, run to the bathroom and brush your teeth. Because it's so baked into who you are and how your brain operates. That's why confident people don't always feel good, but they move anyway. Their nervous system has proof. It's been trained. Now, a study from the European Journal of Social Psychology found that it takes a median of 66 days to form a habit. But here's the part most people miss. The more emotionally aligned that habit is with your sense of purpose, your values, and your identity, the quicker it sticks, which means we don't have to wait those 66 days to 90 days that everyone talks about. And more importantly, if your habits aren't tied to your core identity and goal, they'll never last. Simple. Use what I call the mirror method. This is how it works. Take a piece of paper. On one side of it, write down who you want to be. On the other side, write down who you are. Get specific, their daily routine, how, when they wake up, the frame of mind they operate in throughout the day, how they look, who they're surrounded by, how those people they're surrounded by act and look, where he spends his time. Everything about this man, write it down to obscene details. Do the same for yourself. Self-diagnose yourself. How do you think? What frame of mind do you operate from? What emotions run your life day to day? All of it. And then to find out what habits and what you should do to build confidence, to build this consistent identity that we've been trying to build, just do this. Ask yourself 2 questions. What does he do that I don't? Do those things. Then ask yourself, what do I do that he doesn't? Get rid of those things. Do that enough times till the list is done, and you will one day lift your head up and be like, I'm exactly who I've always wanted to be. And I promise you, when you can look in a mirror and tell that to yourself, that's the moment you will officially be able to say that you've built dangerous confidence.